Now just imagine for a moment turning a simple social media post into over $1,500 without selling a single thing. That's exactly what happened to me just recently, and I want to share all the juicy details with you so you can do it too. G'day, I'm Darren from Mr. Craftsman, and make sure you stay tuned until the end because I'm giving away a free 6-page guide full of strategies and examples to help you do the same with your hobby. Now before we jump into all the details, I just want to clear the air on a couple of points. This is by no means a self-promotional or get-rich-quick video. It's not even quite what I would describe as a long-term business strategy in my opinion. But what I am sharing about today is inspiration, a new perspective on your hobby. Now, many of us love our hobbies, but they see them as just money out the door, especially if selling our creations isn't really our cup of tea. But what if your hobby, your passion could support itself, maybe even grow, without ever needing a for sale sign? That's the story I'm about to unpack. Now, it's all about using the power of sharing, not selling, to see past the expense of your activity and unlock its hidden value. So I don't want this to be a super long video, so we'll sort of get straight on into it. But the first thing that you have to understand, I guess, and establish is the why. And there has to be a reason why that you're going to do something like this if it's outside of your comfort zone. And not necessarily that it was outside of my comfort zone, but it might be outside of yours. But the more motivation that you can offer yourself and a reason for doing it, the better the chance that you're actually going to do it. So for us, we're in a position where we're about to sort of head on a holiday that we haven't had for a long time. And so we just wanted to top up the coffers a little bit and have a little bit more spending money. So that was, I guess, was the main motivation for me to sort of get off my bum and do something about it. So not that I did everything, but so that was the why. So once you've established that why, it gives you, you know, a sense of urgency, I guess, because it puts a bit of a dateline on it, and it will help you sort of get through those hard times if you're finding it difficult to get to start selling your stuff, which in this case we're not really doing. So what actually happened? So yeah, I've seen a bunch of different forums and Facebook groups and those sorts of things where people will often just post up something without any invitation to buy or anything like that. And it's, you know, one place I see a lot of it is with Facebook groups to do with laser engraving files and things like that, free files. And a lot of people will post their creations, and based off of that, there will be a lot of people, well, a percentage of people that will go, oh wow, that's really great, you know, where can I get the file? So that sort of thing. So you're not actually, I guess you're not actually trying to sell the file, even though admittedly, yes, that's what the outcome that you're actually looking for. But what will actually happen is, because you're putting it in a way that's more, might be storytelling, it might be a proud spouse moment or something like that, that people view it as less imposing and less of a sales technique, I guess, and more of something that they can associate with on a personal level. And you know, it might be the storyline that may attract them to it, or it might be, oh yeah, that sounds really good, I'd love to do that for myself. So those are the sorts of things that we did. So in our case, I got a few months ago, now you can sort of see the design. Where is it? Up here. You can see this one, I'll get out of the way there. Whoop. I'm all backwards here in the monitor. But that design there, that's the a family tree, that a file that I bought off Etsy quite a few months ago. And I wanted to make one for my mother-in-law, or my wife's mother. And basically I wanted to do that because A, I wasn't confident enough to try and sell something, and B, it was just a good opportunity for me to just try out the process of working with those files. And I was pretty new to the whole laser engraving sort of side of things back then. And I thought, well, you know, if it turns out like crap, then it's no big loss. You know, it's not like I've made it for someone and they've gone, oh, this is really crap. All right, so that's where it's always easy to pick a family member or a friend or something like that, friend of the family. So basically I said to my wife, this was only less than a month ago, and I said, pop a post up on one of the local groups, our local groups from where we live, and just say, look, I'm really, you know, this is something that my hubby made for my mum, and she really loves it, which she did. And so I'm not actually telling any lies there, no porky pies on this one. But, you know, she was really happy with it. It's a, you know, great design, and, you know, it's displayed proudly in her home. And that was it. There was no sales pitch to it at all. And well, there might be a little bit of a, depending on the interpretation, but basically it wasn't an invitation for people to say, do you want one too? There wasn't an invitation to say, well, my husband's selling these, would you like to buy one? So there was none of that pressure associated with selling. And as a consequence of that, where did all this money sort of, you know, we're talking about $1,500, so where did it all come about? So from that one post with those family trees, I got an order from six different people. So I made 6 of those. And then from that point, there was when I had actually delivered those products, and my wife had delivered the products, one of the ladies said, what else do you do? And so we had these little Christmas baubles. I'll just grab them for a second. So just these basic little Christmas baubles. Now this is the front plate, and there's a backing plate with a personalised message on it. And so I think we sold 4 or 5 of those. And then one of the other ladies said, look, I'm looking for something like this. And she showed my wife a photo. You know, is that something your husband can do? So from that, we made one of these. I'll go and get it. I'll be back. So the lady was looking for some sort of birthday sort of reminder, sort of calendar type thing. And we came across a design on Etsy, but which is basically what this one is here. I'm just looking into the monitor to make sure I can see it there. And but with the one on Etsy, the sign was actually wasn't standing proud like that. It was actually laser engraved directly into the timber. Now this particular piece is 50 centimetres, and my working area on my laser is only, I think it's 40 centimetres. So that wasn't something that I could do in one piece. I didn't want to do any tiling or anything like that because it wasn't something that I'm familiar with or hadn't had a lot of practice at. So I said, well, I can do some cut out letters, because if we look at that one word, family, for example, I can fit that in my laser, and I can fit birthday in my laser, and I can do all these other little things. Now it turns out that this is a bit more work, okay, but in the end I think it's a better looking product. And so it's a similar sort of concept, and we've just got different shapes with the person's name and the date, which is pretty cool. So it's something that looks pretty cool, and it has a purpose as well. So I think it's, you know, it's identifying those types of products that you know, can actually have value to someone, not just be something that's, you know, decorative. I'll just pop that down. So once I'd done that one up, we did I just did a quick photo. It didn't have to be a fancy photo, and we sent that out to the people that had bought the family trees. And so from that we sold another 2 of these birthday calendar things. And I was talking to him, so that sort of keeps adding to that total. And I was talking to a mate of mine about how crazy it was that you can pop something up on Facebook and start selling some stuff quite easily without actually selling. And that was the end of the conversation. And then the next time I saw him, he said, well, look, I actually, you know, 'cause I know he runs a business, and he's got a whole bunch of clients that he wanted to do some sort of Christmas gift for. So we end up doing some slate coasters, and so he put in an order for 29 sets of 4 coasters. Now I did do them at mate's rates because he's a good mate of mine, and but still all of that came from one single post, and we didn't try to sell anything. And I guess that's the whole point of it, is that it's taking the pressure off yourself, and it's even taking the pressure off the people that you're displaying that to. So because you're not actually asking them to buy anything. In this case, it was just, you know, a proud spouse moment where my wife Yeah, she's really proud of what I do, creatively, because she's not a creative person. So it was something that was honest and authentic, and she got a fabulous response, because I'm sure that there were a bunch of females, and it was pretty much all females, that responded to my wife, that probably thought, oh yeah, my husband's pretty cool like that as well, or, so there was that relatability as well, without the pressure to buy anything. So it naturally attracts, the process naturally attracts the people that are looking for something like that. So without having to go through this uncomfortable process of trying to sell something. So that's it in a nutshell. To date, I think I'm up to $1,517 in sales. Less, of course, some material costs, but material costs for those are quite minimal. It's really just more about my time. And I had a bit of spare time coming up to Christmas, so it's been a very worthwhile project to actually understand and test the concept in a lot of ways. Just testing that concept that you can actually generate an income from your hobby. Okay, so this is not putting any pressure on anyone. It's not putting pressure on yourself. It's just simply saying, okay, well, if I could make enough money to cover my expenses for this hobby, and that's always been a premise of mine. So anything that I've ever done in relation to personal pursuits, other than sport, because I'm certainly not going to get paid as a professional athlete, but any of those other things, I've always approached it from the point of view, well, I don't really want this to encroach on our day-to-day living costs. So how can I make enough money out of it so it's self-sustainable? So that's all I'm suggesting here, is that this is one particular way that you can make something self-sustainable, and perhaps gives you a little bit more motivation to be a bit more creative as well, and look at different things that you could be making. So in as far as the products go, I'd definitely be looking for something that is, perhaps a little bit different. So not just something that you're seeing everywhere in your community currently. And so I haven't seen anything like this in any of the community stuff that I've sort of seen posted with other laser engraving companies and things like that. And that's the other point. I'll just make this point quickly, is that there's a few laser engraving companies here where I live on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, and they have the sponsored posts and things like that. And a lot of their work, in a lot of ways, is better than the work that I'm producing. However, there's no story attached to it. And it really is an advertisement to sell something. So, and the response, the appropriate response, is because we get bombarded with so many sales things on social media these days, there's just no interaction with it. All right, so something where it's personal, something where there's a story attached to it, that people can relate to and share in that joy of that creation process, you may just find that you'll get a better outcome than if you're trying to say, okay, well, I've been doing this laser engraving for blah, 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 and I'm trying to get a few sales together. These are the sorts of products that I can do. Is that something you'd be interested in? Rather than just being proud to share some of your own work, your own creations, and let the natural selection process of those customers come to you. Okay, now before I just wrap this one up, this is something I just added on after I've done all this recording, but the last few days we've been running a second test with the same sort of concept for a couple of reasons. Is that, first of all, I wanted to prove a point that it actually, the strategy actually works. Plus, also want a few more bucks in the account. That never goes astray. So we did the exact same thing, but this time we put up a photo of this one, so you can see that one there. And yeah, it looks nice. It's a pretty simple thing. It's really just a 500mm piece of timber and a few cut-out letters, and a little bit fiddly to put it all together. But anyway, the point being is that the concept works. So I will pop up, the listing that somewhere on the screen here, somewhere, whether it be, I don't know which side it's going to be on, but you can sort of see the wording there. It's very simple, and we're not actually, asking people to buy it. We're just saying, oh wow, we really love this one. Same thing, proud spouse sort of post. And I think one of the very first comments was, does your husband sell these? Well, of course he does. That's the whole point of the exercise. So the concept does work. And from that one, so we were at $1,517, $1,517. And from this post, we've got orders for another 10 of these currently, with another 4 in the works. So, that's at least another $1,400 if those other ones come off as well, $1,400, $1,600 odd dollars. So the concept works, guys. All you got to do is give it a go, and you never know what's going to happen. So that's basically all I want to get across, is that you can do it too. I know you can do it. And to help you out, if you're still a bit worried about getting started, I've put together a 6-page file for you that gives you a bit of an understanding, perhaps a bit of the psychology of why this sort of methodology might actually work. Plus it gives you a 5-step plan to help you get started with that. And if that's a bit much, I've just got a whole bunch of prompts and sample type posts that you could post yourself and just modify as required. And it covers 10 different types of posts. So it gives you plenty of inspiration, plenty of information to work with. And I'll pop a link down below in the comments for that. So go and click on that link, pop in your details, and I'll shoot that out to you. So hopefully you've got something out of that. I know I've probably babbled on a bit too long, and I know this has probably gone longer than I hoped it would, but I think it's important to give you guys a bit of inspiration as well, that you can do it too. So give it a go, and you'll be happy that you did. And until the next video, be creative and stay grateful. Bye for now.